Welcome to your Technology Questions Answered. I'm your host, Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis, and yes, you may call me that, and we are June 12th, 2011. So on this day, episode 37, we're going to be talking about advanced recovery solutions. So let's get down to business. In today's world of the internet, we've got remote servers trying to hack into our firewalls and routers, connecting to the networks, trying to deposit Trojan viruses, trying to wipe out everything and collect as much information fraudulently as possible by creating botnets. We've got hackers targeting companies. We've got inexperienced users loading attachments from emails that are containing viruses that use zero-day flaws. We've got flaws in applications and flaws in security all the way around. But at the same time, time is money. Businesses need to run. You need to get your work done. And when you're a student, you need to get your homework done. So what happens when your computer fails beyond belief? When you are so infected you can't get your work done? When your computer no longer works? And at the very worst, what do you do when your hard drive literally just dies on you? Today, I'm going to show you how to make an image backup. I'm going to show you not how to just restore your computer, but this image backup will allow you to restore your computer to any hard drive. The hard drive fails, doesn't matter. Buy a new one, put it in the computer, and put the image you saved on that. This today is going to be the most useful, time-saving skill that any of you should learn, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you using the Western Digital software. It's the same as the Seagate software. The majority of hard drive companies that are even worth 10 cents to their name will be allowing you to download a free, modified version, mind you, of the Acronis True Home software. Your company doesn't let you do it? I include in the links to the Western Digital website, the Seagate website's Acronis True Home software, and I send you directly on my show notes to the Acronis website where you can purchase the full version and use it on any hard drive you want, and I will demonstrate how it works. But the first thing I need to do is explain what an image backup is. Now, we're all used to the backup of our files idea, backing up our files into the cloud, backing up our files onto external hard drives, bringing that with us, making sure they're not staying in the house, putting a jump drive in, putting your homework on that, giving that to your teacher. We all know this stuff. But what is an image backup? An image backup saves a lot more than just your data. It saves your operating system, all those system files and drivers and programs you installed, the way your icons are placed on your screen, your current wallpaper, everything in the computer, even the registry itself, everything that makes your computer's current state, its current state, is saved in an image backup. And this is because it is a bit-for-bit copy, a clone, mind you, if you would prefer the term, of your current state of your computer. This is why I can tell you that you can have a virus in your computer, spyware in your computer, a hacker that blew out some of your system files in there, or your hard drive just physically fails and no other software can recover that. Let's just say it's end of life and you've had it too long and it just died. The majority of hard drives die in the first 5 years anyway. And I'll tell you one thing, 50% of them will be dead in 2 years from the time it's sold. So don't be surprised, but this is why I want you to learn how to make an image backup. Because regardless of the hard drive that died, all you need to do is buy a new one or format the current one using the software I'm going to show you, and you get all your files back, regardless of whether it's the same hard drive or not. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to show you actually helps you get along. Now, creating an image backup is a very, very simple task. People around the world do it all the time. Production companies do it all the time. Businesses do it all the time. Heck, even in one of my jobs, they do it every single time we cut a shift. It sends all the files onto another computer. They're basically mirror images of each other on each other's computer. And I can tell you that from experience because I've actually had the computer that I work on short out and have to have a new one replaced, and all the data that was on that drive was on the other computer, and that's besides the video backup that they actually have of the screen. So how about we get to the demonstration so I can show you just how easy it is to make an image backup. Of course, I'm not going to let it run. I've already done mine and it's on a separate drive. So I'm going to show you how to get it started. It finishes all by itself. Then I'm also going to show you how to make the actual USB key that you will require to actually put the recovery solution software in it. And it could be any USB key. It could be a USB key you get inside a beer box from a Stanley Cup competition, which is, by the way, what I'm going to be doing. So what we're actually going to do is first, I'm going to show you how to make an image backup. And then second, I'm going to show you how to make the USB key for the image recovery to proceed. Bearing in mind, people, it does not matter which hard drive is in your computer when you're recovering your computer, as long as there's a hard drive from the same company that is on the USB key. Now, just to get something across to everybody, if you buy a Western Digital hard drive, and you switch to a Seagate because it dies, because it's the cheapest one there or whatever happens, all you need is to get one with the Seagate recovery tool, and I'll explain that in the panic trick. So let's get to the demonstration. Okay, the process of creating an image backup is fairly simple in Acronis TrueImage. A step-by-step instruction is provided on the show notes page, and it is specifically targeted to the Acronis TrueImage Western Digital Edition. All you need to do is open the software. Mind you, if you're using Seagate or any other software or the full version of Acronis TrueImage, it is fairly the same principle. So on the front page, that loads, you've got multiple buttons: Home, Backup, Recovery, Tasks and Log, Tools, and Utilities, and you've got the buttons across the top. Don't worry about anything. All you need to do is deal with the backup issue or the tools issue, because recovery is normally done outside of the operating system. So click Backup. Click Disk and Partition Backup, and we're going to make an image backup. Seeing how we got more than one drive, make sure you select only the disk in question. This other disk is where we're going to save the actual tool that will recover our image backup. You will click Next. This is where you're going to save your file. Now there's going to be a message if you save on the same drive, and I'm going to let you see it in the video. This message will ask you that if you're really sure you want to save to the same hard drive. Let's explain this. If you are trying to save to the same hard drive, you will not be able to recover the hard drive if it becomes corrupt, because the image backup will be on the same drive. Also, by the same token, it is impossible to recover a hard drive with the backup information on the same partition. So you actually need to get this backup off this hard drive at some point before the computer fails. You can actually move the file to another hard drive in your computer. You can put it to a network attached storage. I'll show you next week how to build one, what I call a faux NAS, which is just basically a router with a USB port and a hard drive dock with a USB connection. It does the same job as an actual NAS using Ethernet. That I'll show you next week. Just make sure that you take this backup and you put it on a different drive, so if it does fail, you'll have something to get to. And by the way, different partitions on the same physical drive will not work. It needs to be on a different physical drive. They're not that expensive. They're $45 to $65 for a terabyte. 2 terabytes runs you just above $100, so no excuses. They're not that expensive anymore. So let's say you are sure you want to do it on the same partition. Just click Yes. Just make sure you move it on to another hard drive later on. Now at this point, you can modify a whole bunch of stuff here, like commons, backup method, backup options, but for the majority of you, you don't have to edit anything else. Just click Proceed. Then it'll load on. It's all automatic. You can even tell it to shut down the computer when the backup is completed. So let's just turn this off because we don't need to do it. We've already done it today. Now, at this point, you need to make a recovery tool. The only way you're going to do this is by going through the Tools and Utilities option of any of these software applications. So click Tools and Utilities. At the top, you've got Create Bootable Rescue Media. Put it on a USB stick. Doesn't matter where you put it. Just put it on something that contains enough space for this. And remember that you cannot lose this drive. So just click this. Now, welcome to the Acronis Media Builder. This is the tool that they use to make the bootable drive. You just click Next on the front page, select the software you want. In our case, we just need a True Image software. Then click Next. Then you get the bootable media starter parameters. Don't need to worry about it. Just click Next. Select the hard drive or media that you want to put this on. In our case, it will be drive I, because that's the USB stick we put in. Click Next again. At this point, no auto start config. Yes, we know this. Selected projects. Acronis True Image WD Edition full version for what I will call the DOS version. Click Proceed, and we'll even let this run in real time to show you just how little time it takes to create this. So no excuses. It's very, very fast. Right now it's even copying the files. It's about half done. Let's see, and while it's finishing, we'll load up the hard drive. Just show you, see, bootable media has been successfully created, and you get to see what it looks like on the inside. So these are all the files that will be on the drive. Just make sure you don't lose it, and you should be fine. Now let's get back to the primary video. Let's talk storage of image backups. The majority of you have a lot of music, a lot of videos, a lot of documents and homework, a lot of pictures and whatever. You're not going to be able to make an image backup that fits onto a CD or a DVD, and in some cases even a Blu-ray disc. Optical drives are going to be out of the question. Now, you've got cloud storage being thrown around, and I love cloud storage because that means the backup is outside of the house. In this case, it's not feasible, and I can give you several reasons why cloud storage for an image backup is a waste of your time. Putting up your files on the internet, your movies, music, photos, documents, good. Put them there. That's where they should be. They shouldn't be in the house whatsoever. But do not put your operating system in the cloud, because even if you actually have a backup of the image, if you lose the computer, chances are you will never get exactly the same devices inside your new computer. Using the image backup to recover a computer that does not have the same profile is a waste of your time. So what do? Put it inside an external hard drive that you can build yourself. I'll show you next week how to do it. And leave it in the house. It doesn't need to go very far. In fact, you don't even need to put your personal documents on this. The next time you do a clean format, put the clean format, no documents version on the external hard drive, and back up your personal documents to the cloud and another external hard drive. That way, you're safe. You lose your computer, no biggie. Don't need to use the image backup anymore. You'll still have your files. So, once we've dealt with that, we just have to remember one thing. The backup needs to be on a different drive. So, how do we recover the computer from an image backup? Remember what I just showed you about making the USB key with the image recovery software. You need it. You need the hard drive, external hard drive or internalized, that you use to save the backup to different hard drive, because it won't work if it's on the same drive. Connect the USB dongle to the computer, the external to the computer, or unless it's internal, of course. Boot to the USB media. You may have to press F8 when a computer starts, otherwise you will have to go through the BIOS and force the BIOS to load to USB first. Then, you're going to have to select the recovery option in that boot section. At which point, don't worry about any of the special options. We don't want this to take half an hour for a 15-minute job. Go through it, take all the simple methods, it's all straightforward. Most of the time, you just click next, 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 and select which image backup you want to use. Then you let it do its work. It'll take 15-20 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how huge and how much data you have. Bearing in mind, the more data you have and the slower the computer, the longer it will take. Most newer computers can recover the hard drive in the next 30 minutes. So don't worry, just breathe, relax, you're fine. It would take you hours longer to rebuild your computer. Now, if you lose this thing, which is today's panic trick, and you made the image backup, because if you didn't make the image backup, having this dongle is a waste of your time. If you have the image backup, don't panic. It's not a complete utter loss. You can use another computer to make the dongle, as long as it has a drive from the same company, and there is a hack around it. Install the software in a different computer. It could be your friends, family, even like your son's, daughter's, wife's computer, husband's computer, it doesn't matter who it is. If they have one from the same company, no biggie. It's just going to work. You make the dongle, that's it. But if they don't have the same hard drive, take your hard drive out of your computer and plug it into their computer. And then when the software tries to detect all the hard drives, it will see your hard drive, allow you to install, allow you to make the dongle, and you will be fine. So, this week's panic trick is how to recover this thing at the same time as your files. So, just another rundown. Another computer, install software, recreate it. Doesn't want to install because you don't have the same hard drive? Put your hard drive in the other, install, and it will all work. The rest of the instructions for installing are the same. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Your Technology Questions Answered. Don't forget to subscribe to our show, whether it's on YouTube, FeedBurner, iTunes, or any other website on the internet you've seen it on. If you want to fill out a survey, and I know most of you want to, you can help us out by telling us what you think of the show by heading over to www.zedaxis.net, your source for the sources of each episode, the links to the software that I post up, the show notes, videos, downloads, information for subscriptions, advertising, donations, everything you need to know about this show is there on the website at www.zedaxis.net. Next week I'll show you how to use a USB router, a USB-capable external device to make your own faked-out NAS storage device. This will be on June 19th, 2011. That's next week. If you want to send me any comments, stories, suggestions, or anything, it's tqa@zedaxis.net. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Stay safe and online. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great day. This has been your Technology Questions Answered.